Hi everybody, how is everybody doing? I hope everyone is safe and is okay and trying to take care of themselves during this season of so much rains all over the country. I hope everyone is safe and keeping themselves safe in every possible way that they can. So I'll go right into the topic of today. So today I would like us to talk about trauma. So I'll first start by introducing what it is, or like by defining what it is. Then I'll go to the types of trauma. After that, I'm going to highlight what results as a result of trauma, and then I'll get to treatment, down to the treatment of the of the things that result because of trauma. I hope I'm clear on that. So I have written this down. So today, perhaps I will mention and then talk a bit about the particular thing that I mentioned, because I chose to write, like I usually have things written down and then talk about them, but for this particular one, because I have no expertise in the field, I'd rather just read it according to the research that I've done and the best, how can I put it, the best results in the medical, like medically speaking. I hope that makes sense. So trauma is defined as a response to an intensely stressful event or events or situations. The effects of this can be long term, but healing is possible. So trauma is basically going through very painful and traumatic events, or an event can be many things or can be just one particular thing that leave you with let's just say scars. And I can mention that according to the research I did, the Jade Foundation, which is a non-profit that protects emotional health and prevents suicide for teens and young adults, has broken trauma into three types: emotional trauma, complex trauma, and secondary trauma. So for emotional trauma, they have defined it as, that is the Jade Foundation, the feelings traumatic events leave us with, characterized by feeling unsafe in one's body. Emotional trauma can alter our brain function and lead to an overarching sense of hopelessness. The second type of trauma is complex trauma, which they have defined it to be a series of traumatic events that can have a lasting impact. The last one, according to the research, is secondary trauma, which they have defined as, it is also known as vicarious trauma. I know vicarious, I can trace it back to my days in law school, and I just like to get what it means is you it's basically, how can I put this, as a result of, like, I let me just read it as it is. Secondary trauma refers to being a witness to trauma. Witnessing a traumatic event can impact your emotional health and is also deserving of empathy and compassion as well. So there are people who get traumatized because they have been in the presence of these things happen, that perhaps the particular event, that particular traumatic event did not directly affect them as a person, but because perhaps they grew up in the environment where perhaps they saw their mom being hit by their dad, or their dad being a drunk, or their mom being absent, or their mom being abusive, that as a result they have carried that trauma with them. And trauma that repeatedly occurs over time can have a cumulative impact, which is known as complex trauma. So complex trauma is basically a kind of traumatic event that keeps happening for a long period of time, over and over and over and over again. Like I said, for example, you grew up in an abusive home, or you grew up in an unsafe environment, just just things that constantly, so like it's not a one day thing, it's like the same thing or multiple things happening throughout for a long period of time. Complex trauma is often associated with childhood trauma. Early experiences of trauma can leave deep imprint on your worldview, sense of self, and relationships later in life. I perhaps feel this particular episode could directly be linked to the episode I did about attachment styles, because there's a direct correlation again, because we have, as we are seeing here, what you go through as a young person, as a child. Like, first of all, you already established that your point of contact with what, like, your primary caregiver is what shapes your worldview in a very, very big way, like until a time where when you have to maybe perhaps come and sit down and review those things on your, like on your own, or you just grow up and realize, maybe this wasn't right or this was right. So primarily as well, if you go through these traumatic events, sorry, from a very tender age, they are so deeply rooted in you. Like, now, getting help for this varies. Like, for people who've gone through a series of traumatic events, they're what they need is different than somebody perhaps who went through one particular traumatic event or two. Not to downplay anything. Like, every trauma is a hard experience. Every experience is worth it, and every experience is worth of, you deserve to receive empathy for what you went through, because not to downplay that any trauma is more superior than the other one. Trauma is hurtful and trauma is trauma. So because of trauma, it may result to depression, it may result to anxiety, and just a series of mental health issues as a result of that. So again, the treatment for that can be therapy. You can perhaps go, and then once it's diagnosed from like the hospital, because we get the people who suffer from clinical depression, like, then there is medication that is given to you. Or if it is anxiety, once it's diagnosed, again, a lot of times people do self-diagnosis, but it's very important to have it diagnosed from a hospital so that you can get the proper care and the proper attention and the proper medication that you need to get you through that. Exercise as well help. Yoga, meditation, just different, again, depending on how severe the trauma is for every individual. Different things work for different people. So no matter what it is that you've gone through, no matter what kind of trauma you've gone through, whether you grew up in an abusive home, physically or mentally or emotionally, or you, like, if you were physically beaten, if you were said when you were a child, if you still are going through traumatic events or traumatic episodes in your life, I just want to let you know that there's light at the end of the tunnel, and it's going to get better, and it's not your fault. Like, at the end of the day, you are going to emerge on the other side as a very strong and better person than you were. And if you can seek help, if you can leave. If you can share with people who you feel are close enough and won't go telling your business out there, please do that as well. Just don't sit with it, because once you start talking, then you realize that, oh my gosh, so actually a lot more people are going through what I am going through or what I went through. So don't give that traumatic event in your life so much power. Don't do that. Don't let shame be something that guides your decision when it comes to that. Because again, like I said, it was not your fault. None of it is your fault, even if it's something that is still happening at the moment. You just have to gain the strength and gather yourself. I know it is hard. 9 out of 10 times it is always easier said than done, but I truly hope that you get through this, you get to this other side, you are able to feel better about yourself, because like I have said severally here on this podcast, your mental health is the most important thing. Because if you're not okay mentally, then really there's really not so much you can do, honestly, because your mental health affects every single aspect of your life. So I truly hope you find the help that you need. I am going to link a few places that I know that can offer assistance because of this event happening. Like if you've undergone something and you need assistance, I'm going to link it down below. So feel free to call, to text the numbers, or just visit the places if you can. My DM is always open as well. Let's share, let's talk about those things, and let's not give shame a chance, please. Let's let go of shame completely, because shame has no place in here. It has no place at all in our lives. So yeah, I really hope this was helpful, or is going to be of some sort of assistance to somebody today or in the future. Yeah, so thank you so much for the continued love and support. Keep on liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing, following, everything that is necessary. And again, I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. See you on the next episode. I've been your host, Nkatha Levian Kinywa. Bye.